Okay, well, welcome to this live stream. I promised last week that I would be doing more of these during this period, and since then I haven't done any till today, but because Mercury hit my household. For those of you that read my posts on Patreon or Medium, you will know that. But it was just stuff. And I've just come back from Kundalini yoga class. And actually before the class, I kind of had the awareness of this as Mercury approaches his station direct on Thursday. That really all this happened, and the frustration around the stuff, which was just stuff, it was just little stuff really happening, was me trying to control, which is what I always recommend people don't do when they're during a Mercury retrograde, especially one in Pisces, and one that's as powerful as this one because of its association with Neptune and the last degree of the zodiac. The big theme of this Mercury retrograde has been grace, surrender, and let go. And grace is my word of the year. Yeah, I didn't do that at the weekend. I got very frustrated and got very like, oh, I can't wait till this is over, which is normally not my MO. But we're all human, and at least the awareness is there that I was really getting in the control mode. And Mercury retrograde is saying you have no control. You personally, your ego has no control. So there was that. So I'm going to share the chart. Oh, and this is public. So for those of you on YouTube or anywhere that I share it, I am Louise Eddington. I'm a soul astrologer and a writer, and I like what somebody said to me this morning, so I'm going to use it. I stream the stars. So there you go. I love that little thing. So let's look at what's going on and kind of give you a bit of kind of a heads up about where it's going. But I want you to kind of soak up this energy and just kind of look at it. This is the energy now. And then I would like you to actually close your eyes and just let out your breath with a soft ah. And then allow your breath to come in its own time. Feel your feet connected to the earth. Let your breath out again with a soft ah. Allow your breath to come in its own time again. And one more time. Ah. And now look at the chart with kind of a different eye, if you like, with, tune into the energies. This is all that I really want you to do. I want my role in life for you not to necessarily understand all the technical jargon of astrology. I would really like you to tune in, so that you can feel the energy by looking at it, and with the aid of my writing, my daily posts, any other astrologers out there. I was once described as the people's astrologer because I really want to try and make it understandable, and I want people to feel it in their soul. And that was the aim of my book, Modern Astrology. So I am going to give a quick plug for that. I'm doing actually a book launch party. It was published in November, but I've never done a public book launch party. I'm doing one at my yoga studio on April the 19th. So if anybody's in the Salt Lake Valley area and would like to come, I'm going to put a link on my website. But anyway, So this is what's going on right now in the stars, the planets, the luminaries. We have the moon over here in Sagittarius, okay, and I'll come back to Luna in a moment. And here we have Mercury and Neptune over here, as I keep describing it, joined at the hip. And I'm going to keep coming back to those two as well. And I'm going to really focus in on the energies over the next couple of days. So I just need to bring up my lunar aspects calendar as well, so I can make sure I don't miss them. But at 1:43 p.m., so in just over an hour, I'm going to go to that point quickly. Or maybe it's 1:44 on this software, but Venus moves into Pisces. And here we have, so when we have Mercury, Neptune, Vesta, the flame, the hearth, the flame within you, the keeper of the flame also. And it looks like a flame, the symbol, all in Pisces. And this Pisces energy is a mutable energy, it's called, and it squares Sagittarius energy, and it also squares Gemini. And it opposes Virgo, but we really don't have anything in Virgo at the moment. But that makes Virgo, it doesn't mean Virgo's not significant. It could be described as an empty leg. So in some ways, the focus is over here, okay, of all this energy. And the healthy focus of Virgo, the empty leg, is service and kind of being useful in the world. The less healthy empty leg energy of it is that controlling, everything has to be organized and routine kind of energy. And we're being asked to let go of a lot of that. So I keep describing Neptune and Mercury as being joined at the hip. That's because Mercury is stationing on Thursday, stationing direct at 16 degrees of Pisces, and Neptune will still be at 16 degrees of Pisces. So these two are hovering at that same degree since their actual conjunction, which was 3 days ago, I think, or 2 days ago, Sunday, I think. And I tell you, I'm still in space up from my Kundalini. And so this means that not only is Mercury retrograde in Pisces, but he's conjunct the ruler of Pisces, Neptune, in the sign he rules. And not only that, the last new moon was at 15 degrees of Pisces. So all this Pisces energy is collected here at this point, this 15, 16 degrees. And then Mercury will travel back to 29 degrees of Pisces, where he started his retrograde, and eventually leave his shadow, and eventually drying things out in fiery Aries. But Pisces energy, you know, it's such an interesting energy. It's the last sign of the zodiac. It is the cosmic soup. It is the amniotic fluid. It is the dream time, to speak in of Aboriginal terms from Australia. It kind of, if you think of the zodiac of the 12 signs, beginning at Aries, going right through to Pisces, Pisces in many ways contains all and nothing of all of the signs. It's kind of the ending and the beginning. So it really is the alpha and omega of signs, if you like. And when I call it the cosmic soup, it's because everything is kind of mixed up in it. It's our collective unconscious, it's our dreams, it's our sensitivity to others. It's deeply compassionate. I talked in my post this morning about the energy of agape, which is kind of this really higher love. And we're going to really start to feel that over the next couple of days, especially with Venus entering into Pisces. Venus is said to be exalted in Pisces, and that which means that she brings out her higher self. Now, not only that, but Venus in esoteric astrology is thought to be the higher energy of Earth itself. And so it's got some very earthly kind of energy in it. It represents Venus rules nature and the other, all that's manifest. So it does bringing in this kind of highest energy, higher self. I keep writing in my blog posts that we're being called to our higher selves. And I truly, truly believe that this energy in Pisces is calling us to that. It's calling us to focus the Vesta flame on that inner flame inside, and to be less focused out in the world and to what's out there, and to really focus on this feeling of higher love and higher compassion and higher sense of connection with all that is, really. I kind of think Pisces is in these nebulous kind of concepts and words because it's so kind of creatively soupy and wonderful. And it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's the real energy of kind of channeling kind of the from everything through you, allowing to come through as well. And I love that kind of that somebody described this morning that I stream the stars. I was like, wow, what a fabulous expression. Anyway, they were talking about my book at the time. So we've got all this energy over here in Pisces, and then I'll come back to the moon. The moon is approaching Jupiter. The moon is also approaching aspects to Pallas Athena in Libra, which is also Venus ruled, by the way, and I'll talk about all of this. And it's also approaching an aspect to the North Node and Pluto and the South Node. They're so-called minor aspects, but I don't think there's anything minor about them. It's also approaching an aspect to Black Moon Lilith over here. And I'm going to kind of jiggle the chart a little bit so you see it. And it's also aspecting Eris over here and Hygeia over here and Astrea over here. And that, to kind of quickly sum it up. So the moon is the mother, is water. It rules Cancer. It's very nurturing. It's very receptive, very feminine energy. Pallas Athena represents wise justice. She is the owl energy, and she's in Libra, which I said is Venus ruled. So goddess energy, goddess energy. The North Node in Cancer is lunar ruled, so I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Black Moon Lilith is goddess energy as well, and she is our wild energy, or our where we've been shamed in a collective sense. In Aquarius, this is where we've asked to be in conformity, to live by certain rules and to not celebrate our unique individuation. And I'm not doing this in that very shallow way of be your unique self. In other words, be some of these memes and things kind of make me laugh, because when they're saying be your unique self, they're kind of all pushing the same thing, really, kind of this kind of wild hippie chick kind of thing. Well, if your unique self isn't that, then don't be that. This is your unique self. If it's your individual soul blueprint, okay? And we all are very different. And then it's also aspect, that's goddess energy. because Lilith was the original woman, the original wife of Eve, that was a rebel and kind of fought against being made to conform to the patriarchal view, if you like. And here's Eris over here, and she is the goddess of discord who threw the apple. And actually, the apple is a very feminine symbol in itself. If it's cut vertically, the center and the seeds actually look like a vulva, and there's seeds in there, which is the creativity of women. So, you know, there's all these connections between all this goddess energy, of course. And Hygeia, look at this, the medical symbol. That represents health and hygiene, basically, but you know, healing. Astrea is another symbol of an asteroid that also represents justice. So the moon later today is going to start triggering all of these aspects. And they're all significant because the Grand Cross I've been talking about for days, this cardinal Grand Cross, is bringing a big shift away from these shoulds, these rules, saying that you have to be a certain way, and this sense of conformity. But also it's about a shift away from barriers and walls and boundaries that we put up. And Pallas Athena and Eris particularly are shaking it up and saying this is not fair. Both of these are about fairness, and both of these are saying how can we change this and bring shake up what we do ourselves, who we are ourselves, to remember that we're all in it together, and to bring a fairer world, fairer society, and bring it to the North Node, that lunar energy that is more caring, more nurturing, more loving. Okay, so, you know, there's a lot of pull towards love, basically, which is very beautiful. But today I want to talk about, amongst other things, is this Lilith over here. There's the number 23. I've talked about the number 23 endlessly. Check out my blog posts. It is, according to numerologists, one of the most powerful of numbers. And it is at 5. 2 plus 3 is 5, so, which is change, but it's also speaking out, according to my numerologist friend Jen Duchenne, who I do my podcast with. So, but you know, it's all around 23, 24 degrees today, later today. Okay. And we're looking here at just before 8:45 p.m. I haven't got the moon exactly conjunct Jupiter, but we'll be feeling this all day. Okay. So this is a yod, a finger of fate god. And I did not, finger of fate or God, that is. I didn't mention this in my blog post because sometimes it's easier to point and explain rather than try and write. And some, you know, in my daily writing, I try and give an overview and a general feel for the energies. So we have got a finger of fate or God pointing at the North Node in Cancer, saying it's time. This finger of fate is kind of triggering the next few days of all this energy that's conglomerating at 23 degrees, really over the next week. And I probably will come in and give more detail in more live streams as the moon moves on. In fact, I might try and do one, today's Tuesday, probably Thursday around the time the moon's here, talk about that more. But we've not only got this finger of fate, which means what it says, really. God is saying, from Lilith in Aquarius, which I've talked about that energy, Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, talking about natural law, talking about, it is the law, but it is the natural laws, and these are the immutable natural laws, like the law of karma, like the law of cause and effect, like the law of attraction that most of us have heard of, which, you know, is kind of what The Secret wrote about, but there's nothing secret about it, because it's just how things work. It's what you focus on, you attract. So quite simply, but you know, there's all the connection with the other laws, and it doesn't mean that you're going to say, I want a red bicycle, and you get a red bicycle necessarily, because it has to go deeper than that. It's real deep focus. But anyway, Jupiter in Sagittarius is also the truth. Jupiter in Sagittarius is the Hierophant. He is this philosopher, kind of Pope-like figure almost, who really is kind of blessing the world, but in the higher agape, higher truths kind of way, not in the man-made kind of way. But traditionally in the tarot, the Hierophant is portrayed as this Pope-like figure. But, you know, Hierophants were really the interpreters and teachers of these higher truths and these natural laws. So we have that energy joining together this evening in Sagittarius. And the moon is, as I said, is our receptivity, our emotions. Jupiter is a big gas giant. He's kind of expansive, and he is the original ruler of all that Pisces energy. To anybody that missed the start, come back and listen to what I talked about and all that Pisces energy. And of course, really, you know, if we look at a couple of degrees separation of energies, this is squaring Vesta, that flame that's inside you, the focus and commitment. And then Lilith, the where we've been kind of shamed for our individuality and uniqueness. And in the middle of this finger of fate and finger of God, we have in the opposite point this stuff over here, Pluto, deep transformation and rebirth. And my post today was about rebirth. This so much rebirth and birthing energy in the chart right now. And then the South Node is kind of the release. It's not kind of getting rid of completely, because it is the dragon's tail, and we have the dragon's head at the top here and the dragon's tail here, and we don't want to cut the tail off. But we do want to release our kind of attachment to being stuck in the tail. We want to be at the head, moving forward of the dragon, if you like. Makes me want to go and watch what's it, you know, with dragons and Khaleesi and all that kind of thing, Game of Thrones. Anyway, and then Saturn here in Capricorn, we're being asked to master something, you know, and there's also the, of course, the yin and yang, where people are resisting this transformation and change, and we see it, but we see the transformation and change happening anyway. People are kind of stepping away from really this big trust in the rules and the institutions of the man-made world, if you like, or the man-made rules and institutions. It doesn't mean they're all going to collapse, but some of them will. But it's more about our attachment to them. So we're being asked to release. We're being asked to come to remember, to point at this big family, knowing that feelings matter as well and must be validated and acknowledged. And because there's so much stress pointing at this North Node, I'm finding that it's being challenged over and over again. You guys all know me on Facebook, and you know that I will argue on Facebook with real prime examples of the patriarchy, which are usually older white men, and they always, their argument is always, you're being emotional, you're not being rational, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's going to be challenged all the time, because what's wrong with emotion? What's wrong with feeling as well as fact? Anyway, don't get me started on that one. But this is big. Okay, over the next 24 hours, this triggering this before the moon goes void overnight for those of us in the US, okay, and for almost 12 hours. So the moon will be completely kind of floating free. I like Anne Ortley's words about that, the void moon. The moon is void, so she's not working, so neither should you be. But really what that means is pushing to start new things and stuff. It doesn't mean you just always sit back and do nothing on a void moon, because that would be really difficult to do life if you do that. So it's the usual, not starting new things if you can help it, really kind of cleaning up, finishing projects, things like that kind of energy. But anyway, to come back to tonight, this is huge, these two energies meeting. The fact that they're in this yod to the North Node in Cancer is huge. The fact that this is at the midpoint of these two energies, asking us to release. The fact that at this point we still have Mercury and Venus joined at the hip at the same degree for the next few days, as Mercury stations direct and then moves back over Neptune. And then Venus just moved into Pisces this afternoon. Dreams, creativity, connection with the divine, whatever that is going to be off the charts tonight, I can tell you. I think we're kind of lucky here in the US, because I see everybody that's on live is here in the US, because we are just going to be in bed, and we can just set intention. Keep your dream journal by your bed. Before you go to sleep, ask for any answers that you're looking for from the divine. If you pray, be very prayerful as you go to bed. This is not the kind of energy to really, to sit on your phone till the very last minute, all that kind of thing. This is the energy to really sit in meditation and allowing and grace, and allow it to kind of flow over you for the next 24 hours, really, till tomorrow morning, when the moon, I will talk about that. The moon goes into Capricorn. So let's move on to tomorrow a little bit. So I wanted to give you it was 24 hours from this morning when I decided to do this, really. But when the moon moves into Capricorn, here we go, there's Capricorn. Things start to liven up. So I want to give you a bit of a heads up for tomorrow. The moon goes into Capricorn and immediately squares Uranus, newly in Taurus. Two more grounded. You're kind of coming back to Earth with a bump, okay? And some major awarenesses probably. Tomorrow morning you're going to wake up and things here in the US, because it's at 8:44 a.m. there, but later in the day, if you're in the UK watching this later, the square, the earthy square, will say it's time to get to work. So we've got all this immense dream energy, and then suddenly it's like, right, okay, back to earth. What came through? What can I actually start to build on with these messages that I'm getting from the divine? Okay. We still kind of under very confusing energy. It still feels very dreamy, but with a more muddy, earthly, sculpting kind of feel. Okay. So after that square to from the moon to was it square? Sorry, a trine, not. See, I'm still in space from that's the trine from the moon to yeah, sorry, I lost my place again, to Uranus happens, but almost at the same time we have Venus sextiling Uranus. So remember, Venus is exalted in this sign. She is in rose-colored glasses kind of energy up here. She's having a bit of awakening as well. And she rules Taurus, the sign that Uranus is in. So this, I feel like we're going to have kind of some kind of major awarenesses come through around Earth, around nature. I've been talking and sharing quite a bit about permaculture and things lately. The fact is, I'm not a gardener and I want somebody else to come and do it for me, but I'm really sensing all this energy coming back in. We're kind of awakening to what we need to do as we move forward. The moon trining Uranus, sorry, not squaring, is bringing that more grounding in. Tomorrow is a real day of creation. If you garden, get your hands dirty, get out there if you get the opportunity. This is also could be the energy of cooking and making as well. But if your energy, like mine, is the ideas and the writing, because I have so much Sagittarius, Gemini, then write about it and speak about it and teach others about what you've become aware of. And so that we kind of really shift the energies tomorrow, okay, with these things, and this kind of rules the day. So I'm kind of going to leave you with that energy for a bit. Nice to have a few of you on live, but do you, and for those that came late, do you have any questions? Do you have anything particular you want me to look at? I am going to try and come back on Thursday and do another Zoom, because these energies are very, very intensive. And I keep getting this message myself that I have to go into more detail about what's happening now. You know, if you know your own chart, really look at where this energy here, the 15-16 degree mark, is hitting your chart. I know for me, it's squaring all my Sagittarius Jupiter stuff, so I'm being hit big time. Also, look where the 15-16 degrees of Virgo is, because that can kind of be where the resolution is for you. And for me, as an example, it's actually in my 8th house. And that's the house of kind of Kundalini and stuff. And I'm spending a lot of time doing Kundalini yoga. So I'm in the right place to integrate all this energy. If it was in the 1st house for you, this is more about kind of who you are in the world, that kind of thing. So you might want to do some I am exercises, I am meditations, things like that. If you're not sure where it is in your chart, you know, there's options to work with me, get a reading, or join Patreon at the $25 a month level, where you get a mini reading every month. And somebody's posted a question. Feeling the need to coexist with the unhealed wound while dipping the pen into the ink of the elements that manifest life. That's a beautiful way to put it, Laurie. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. And I wonder where it's hitting your chart. I think you kind of know the astrology. Says it does sound like your South Node or your Chiron could be being affected by some of this. Both of mine are being affected. Right at the moment, Black Moon Lilith is on my Chiron, and Chiron, however you say it, and my South Node is at 0 Aries with Chiron sitting on it. So Chiron is the unhealed wound to some degree, and so I'm getting it from 2 sides. So, but I'm taking the messages, and I am sitting with that coexisting with that unhealed wound. Yeah. Yeah. And I love that, dipping the pen into the ink of the elements that manifest life. That's beautiful. So before I just sign off, I'm just going to ask you just to close your eyes one more time and just tune in to these energies. These energies are to be felt, and rather than made sense of. These energies are to be sat with, as Laurie said, and to really kind of let them wash over you, this Neptunian energy. Feel, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about the divine energy. I'm not talking about the other shadow energy of Pisces, where it can be so compassionate that you soak up everybody else's wounds. This is about, as funnily enough, my yoga teacher this morning talked about this. This is about, being the compassionate one and the loving one without taking it all on. So just feel these energies. Some of it is quite magical. To go back to what I said at the beginning, for a couple of you that missed it, there's no control in this. Where you try to take control and not sit with it, that's when things get frustrating and difficult. So awesome. I've kind of gone on longer than I thought, 45 minutes, but I just feel it's needed at the moment. So I'm actually going to schedule one for Thursday again. I'm going to look at my calendar and make a post about that. So watch for that. If you can, they're being recorded anyway, though, if you can't attend live. So I'll get this recording up after I've had a bite to eat and post the recording everywhere. And hopefully I'll see some of you here on Thursday. I might do some drumming on Thursday, because Thursday is when Mercury turns direct. Good. I'm glad it helped nourish. I had my spirit nourished at Kundalini, and now I felt like I needed to pass it all on. so look for it on Thursday too. It's much needed at the moment. So much love to all of you, and just go be love.